The new Mavic Air 2 has been announced, and there is one design change that has me more excited than anything on the spec list. And the specs are great. The price is good. In fact, it does everything the Mavic 2 Pro does at half the price. All right, in this video, I want to run down the specs of the new Mavic Air 2, which I'll probably just call the new Air, and take a look at how it compares to the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic Mini. This new Air shoots JPEGs and RAWs with a 48 megapixel half-inch size sensor. The new sensor also makes possible 8K time-lapse video, 4K video at 60 frames per second, and slow-mo HD is possible up to 240 frames per second. That's some impressive slow-mo and seriously outclasses the Mavic 2, which is limited to 1080 at 120, but of course sells for twice the price. And the Mavic 2 Pro is limited to just 30 frames per second when shooting 4K. So what exactly is the Pro offering over the new Air now? Well, we're going to need to wait to compare, but we do have this larger 1-inch sensor on the Pro versus the half-inch on the Air. That means low-light photos and videos are likely to be cleaner and higher quality when captured with the Pro, and you do have aperture control on this drone along with more megapixels without any tech magic needed. This is a true 20 megapixel sensor in here. But there are several new modes that might allow the new Air to make up for that sensor size difference. You've got a hyperlight mode that's going to stack several photos for better low-light quality. There's also an HDR mode and a new scene recognition mode that attempts to provide the best tweaks to the processing for the scene. Now, the scene list is somewhat limited: sunsets, blue skies, grass, snow, trees. There's no word on if any of those special modes are going to support RAW output. I suspect you're going to be limited to JPEGs when using these modes. And that HDR mode is available for video too. That's great, but it does limit the 4K to just 30 frames per second. And more careful reading of the fine print, the 8K time-lapse video is limited in some modes, and it's not going to work in all modes until June. That's not too bad. Now let's get back to the good news. The remote-to-drone connection is now using OcuSync. This is DJI's proprietary connectivity system that, in my experience, provides a rock-solid connection over very long distances. You can easily fly miles away and still get clear video feed and smoothly control the drone. The original Air and the Mini, they use Wi-Fi connectivity, which is more limited and in some congested areas can seriously shorten the range and limits the distance where you can clearly see and get smooth video. And because the new Air uses OcuSync, it is compatible with the smart controller. Now, on one hand, it seems silly to mention this. I mean, this controller costs almost as much as the drone, but it certainly increases the versatility potential of this new little drone, and points to DJI seeing it as a true product, not a toy. The new Air 2 provides front and rear obstacle avoidance. This is a step down from the 360-degree obstacle avoidance system that the Pro has, but that obstacle avoidance system is upgraded and smarter than previous models, hopefully providing even a better chance of avoiding obstacles while flying. And they state that the upgraded obstacle avoidance system will try to maintain smooth cinematic movements even while avoiding obstacles. It sees something in the head, calculates how to get around it while still creating smooth flying. Now, I'm looking forward to testing this. Previous models that I've flown, like the Mavic 2 Pro right here, it provides obstacle avoidance, but it's very jumpy, and I find it's easy to end up with useless footage when you have it turned on. Now, like the 2 Pro, there are lights on the bottom that help landing in low light situation, and one additional item that is brand new to any consumer drone on the market. We've got AirSense in this. This is that ADS-B aviation tech that's going to warn you when aircraft are nearby. It's a little extra peace of mind, though they say that this is only going to be in the North American model at launch due to COVID-19 supply chain issues. So we've got an upgraded tracking system now too. Now, it's not on the level of Skydio drones, but DJI even says that. It's not on that level, but it is improved over all other current DJI drones. So you combine this upgraded tracking system with the upgraded obstacle avoidance, I expect the results are going to be quite good. So, solid camera upgrades that are arguably better in many ways than the much more expensive Mavic 2 Pro, new technology to keep your drone safer, though it is missing the full 360 avoidance sensor, but it does have the best tracking. What's the bad news? Well, before we get to that, let's hit a few more numbers that are impressive. The Mavic Air 2 is going to provide 34 minutes of flight time. Now, that's without any wind and flying slowly, so in the real world you are not going to see that long of a flight number, but it is still an impressive number and a 60% improvement over the original. The top speed in sport mode is 43 miles per hour, about the same as the original, and just 4 miles slower than the Pro. And you get a switch on the redesigned controller to flip between tripod mode, which limits the speed for very slow and stable flights, normal mode, which is what I primarily use when I'm flying the drones. It gives smooth cinematic movements easily, and sport mode that provides for the fastest speeds, and it's good for getting the drone into position quickly or just having some fun. And here's the hook I opened this video with, that design change that has me most excited. The remote now mounts the phone above the controller, with a spring holding the sides of the phone. I'm sorry, but I am quite tired of the current design DJI has been using for a few years. It is very portable, but I almost always have to take my case off to get it to fit properly, and the grip blocks easy access to the USB port. There's often a lot of cussing involved when I'm getting my phone in here in high pressure or situations where I need to do it quickly. I am really happy about these changes, though overall it does seem that remote is a bit larger. So the remote is a bit larger, the drone is a little larger and heavier than the original. It's now 570 grams versus 430 in the original. That's about the difference of a baseball weight. And while I haven't mentioned the Mavic Mini much yet, this is where it really shines. It weighs in at just 249 grams. I mean, that's barely more than your decently sized smartphone, but of course it doesn't shoot 4K or RAW photos or have any obstacle avoidance or tracking. So it's really winning on weight and price at just $399. It also doesn't require FAA registration, although that's not that difficult. The new Mavic Air is $799 for the drone and remote, $988 for the Fly More combo that includes 3 batteries, the multi-battery charger, plus some additional goodies. Now, it doesn't appear that this drone is going to charge via USB. That is another win in portability for the Mini. To round out this comparison, the Pro weighs 907 grams and currently sells for $1,600. The Air 2 is going to use the new DJI Fly app, not the DJI Go app that's used for the older Air and the Mavic Pro and the Zooms. I do feel like the Fly app is more stable, streamlined, and just kind of more of a current app than that one that they've been using forever that crashes at least once per use on my phone. Really, the only negative thing I can come up with, well, it looks the same as the Mini and the Pro, except it's sized in between them. It'd be nice to see a new design. The original was available in a few different colors. It looked sleek, and now we only got gray. Has Lois Lowry taken over product design at DJI? Otherwise, this looks to be a great drone, and while it certainly takes a bite out of the Mavic Pro 2, that sets up a nice differentiation between it and the Mavic Mini, and gives me hope that the Mavic 3 Pro is going to be a significant upgrade. It's got to have 4K with 60, right? So, Mavic Mini, still a great first drone. Easily my recommendation for backyard flyers or people looking for the most portable of drones. The Air 2, while double the price, will provide a much better experience in varied conditions and a much more stable connection no matter where you fly. And finally, the Mavic 2 Pro. Honestly, I struggle a bit to recommend this over the Air 2 at this time. Unless you really need low light capabilities or aperture control, there isn't that much that the Pro offers over the Air. And if the Air really doesn't meet your needs, you're probably best off waiting for the Mavic 3 Pro or looking at alternatives, the strong tracking drone, Skydio, or the Autel Evo 2, which is going to do true 6K and 8K video. So, is the Mavic Air 2 the drone you've been waiting for me? Is the Mavic Air 2 the drone you've been waiting for? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit thumbs up and subscribe. And if you plan to buy any of these drones, there's links right down below this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.